think I need some. Ready? Hi, I'm Sarah Kashomko at the G20 Summit. I'm joined by British actor Bill Nighy. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, thank you.
Now, what organization are you here representing today?
I'm representing Oxfam, which is an international charity based largely in the US and in UK. And I'm an ambassador for Oxfam. And I've come here from Kenya, where I was sent to basically part of my function. I'm an actor, I'm not an expert on anything, but I have seen some sights in terms of aid and how it works and how effective it is. And I've just returned from Kenya, where I saw some terrible things and I saw some beautiful things which happen as a result of the money that you and everyone else in the world gives. I'm very disappointed, obviously, today that the governments don't, that it's not reflected in the governments of the G8 leaders in their decision to not honour, in fact, to actually break their Gleneagles promise and fall short by $20 billion, which is obviously a shaming thing for all the countries involved, and I apologise on the behalf of the UK.
Now, do you feel that the G20 and G8 members are becoming less responsive because you're disappointing with this last package that they passed?
I don't know. When they put their heads together, you know, the Global Fund, for instance, in terms of HIV and AIDS, saves about 3,000 lives a day. We can do it. And we just bailed out the banks, with all due respect to everybody. I don't think bankers are bad people. This is not, you know, a punitive thing, but they've been bailed out to the tune of $17 trillion was the figure that was given me, which is a figure that my head can't quite, you know, contain. And $5 billion has just been announced for the poor. There is I know I'm not stupid. I know the banks have to be bailed out just for us all to function, but even so, the disparity is violent.
Now, you're an advocate of the financial transaction tax, correct?
I am an advocate of of a transactional tax, what we in the UK have billed just for kicks to get some kind of attention, the Robin Hood tax, a tax that on the speculative banking, the kind of gambling that went on in cyberspace, which got us into trouble in the first place. It's, again, not punitively, it's not inspired by revenge, it's an idea that's been around for 30 years, but it's just been refined for the current situation. And it would be a tiny tax on every transaction that takes place in cyberspace, all that speculative gambling. And it would be something like 50p in every £1,000, and it would raise something in the region of £250 billion a year, or $400 billion. And each country would obviously be at liberty to distribute the money as they saw fit, but one suggestion is that 50% of it should be used for domestic purposes. In terms of the UK, that would be child poverty, affordable housing, benefit traps. The other half be split into two quarters, one for climate change issues and the other for the more traditional targets, like trying to stop 350,000 women dying every day trying to do something as simple as having a baby, not because they're reckless or stupid or irresponsible, but simply because they drew the short straw, geographically speaking. They die of things we stopped dying of 100 years ago. I've just been in Kenya, as I say, and I stood on a 2,500 acre toxic trash dump comprised of chemical waste, human waste and medical waste and corpses, where tiny little girls and boys of 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-old and upwards compete with wild pigs to forage and find rotting food, and there are actually vultures circling overhead. It's like a Hieronymus Bosch painting, and the little girls, however young they are, have to give sex to the gangsters who control the fresher trash, the richer pickings in the middle of the dump. And I've seen how Comic Relief, who was the charity I was there representing, go there, rescue these little girls and put them in a place which is like a version of heaven. Not even comparatively, by anybody's standards. It's like a bad movie. It's a Pollyanna-like fairy tale ending. It costs 150 quid, 150 pounds to take one of those little girls out of what is not like hell, it's hell. You don't have to qualify it in any way, and you can't over-dramatize it in any way. It's not possible. You can't exaggerate, and put them in a place where they are nurtured, medicated, counselled, rehabilitated generally, and put back into the community in one piece. And it's beautiful there. And they look after themselves. They do all the cleaning and the cooking. The dormitories are impeccable. It's heartbreakingly ordered and funny and sweet and light compared to this other place, which, as I say, should only be happening in medieval times and not in 2010, when you have the leaders of the world meeting here today who can, with one stroke, prevent it all. It is complicated, but it's not rocket science, and we know exactly what to do. It's not mysterious.
Now, you said that you also saw some good stories that some of the money did go to.
Yeah.
Do you have any good examples to demonstrate what the money putting a face on the problem.
I've been in the village when the pump arrives, when the water pump arrives. It would mean nothing to us. It would mean nothing to somebody in the Western world. They go mental. It's a radical, revolutionary event. I've been there when the goats arrive. And also this school that I've just described, where you take these girls from this hellhole and put them in a beautiful place, that is the result of people in the UK and other places putting their hand in their pocket or answering an appeal on the TV, and that phone call. You know, people are concerned that the money doesn't get there, that the administrative costs are inhibitive. 93 pence of every pound you give to Oxfam arrives on the ground. I guarantee you that's the case. And similarly with comic relief. And it radically changes people's lives. And I know it's become, you know, there are fashionable things to say. There's a lot of corruption out there. They have to help themselves. They're their own worst enemy. You know, the money doesn't get through. All those things. And I probably even said them myself. I probably sat around in cafes before I was alerted to certain things, before I went anywhere, and probably said the same thing. It's a way of saying my brain hurts. It's complicated. Please can I not think about that? I have other concerns. And I understand it. You know, we're human. It's not. But this would, the Robin Hood tax, for instance, would kind of institutionalize charity. You wouldn't have to listen to me banging on ever again for the rest of your life. How about that?
If you had one quick thing to say to leaders at the G20, what would it be?
25,000 people die needlessly and preventably every single day. They need the basic human things that we take for granted. It's all we have to do is deliver them.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Bill Nighy.